at the bottom of the Premier League table after these midweek matches. We've had some cracking games actually the last couple of nights, haven't we? A brilliant result for Southampton against Chelsea. They were delighted with that on Tuesday. And then we saw a stunning hat-trick from Erling Haaland, back-to-back Premier League hat-tricks for him, and a very late show from Liverpool against Newcastle United. This one rounds off, though, what's happened over the midweek. Manchester United with another away win, another 1-0 win. And as Rio was telling us earlier, those are games that he thinks they would have lost last season, not this season. That's the reason why they're fifth in the Premier League. And this weekend they take on the leaders Arsenal. But for Leicester, the big issue for them isn't just the performances. It isn't just the players that they haven't managed to bring through the door. It's not just the players that have left. It's their league position. 5 games played, no games won, 1 draw, and 4 defeats. There's a lot for Brendan Rodgers to be worried about at this football club, and there's a lot coming your way this weekend. Make sure on Saturday you save the day.
But I think this is a good start. It's a good build. We can take something from this, and obviously the 3 points is the most important.
The 1 goal, a lovely goal, Jayden, lovely team goal.
Yeah, it was a great team goal. I'm just happy that I got the goal for the team and I got the 3 points.
Yeah, you look confident now. Of course, the goal against Liverpool helped as well.
Yeah, obviously doing pre-season with the team. My first pre-season, obviously last year I missed pre-season, so I got to know the players a lot more, and we worked on a few stuff, and yeah, I'm getting more comfortable.
Yeah, and in terms of this side, knitting together, but in the first half you pretty much dominated. Do you think you should have killed the game off maybe?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's similar to Southampton. I mean, we did very well until we scored, and then we have to keep momentum. We have to kill the game early, obviously, otherwise it's going to be a tight game until the end, like today.
Table's looking a little bit better, Jayden. You're up into 5th now.
Yeah, we hoped to start the season with 2 wins, but obviously, that woke us up, and happy that we got the 3rd win today.
Yeah, making progress. A big game at the weekend now, another one, Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, from now on they just keep coming every Thursday, Sunday from now until after the World Cup. So I mean, yeah, we're looking good. I mean, we're getting the points, so we're getting the base of what we need to do. But obviously, it's going to be a tight schedule, but a lot of fun games in between.
Congratulations, gentlemen. Thank you. Developing a nice habit of winning. 3rd game on the trot. What did you make of the performance?
I think again a step forward. So we are happy with that. Again, a good team spirit. Again, 11 players on the pitch who fight for each other, and good compact, good press, and I think a lovely goal. But also room for improvement still. But that's normal. Start of the season.
Very classy goal. Dalot, Fernandes, Rashford, Sancho's beautiful move.
Yeah, we can be that dangerous in the transition moments. We know that, and that's especially second half. Also first half, there were many spaces, and we didn't even explore them that well. If we make one or the other better decision, we should have scored the second goal.
Yeah, was that a concern in the first half? Because you did have a lot of the ball and you had chances, but you didn't quite. We weren't ruthless enough, maybe.
We have to be more. So what I say, there is room for improvement, and we will work on that.
And Jadon Sancho, you can see his confidence is on the up after the goal from Liverpool and tonight.
Yes, but he had also a really good pre-season, and he sees now we invest a lot in pre-season, now during the season, and you see then he can make the difference. He's a great player, but also the whole team, because I think it's a really team goal once again.
And also winning away from home, which is something that Manchester United haven't been doing recently. That shows the character and a bit of fight in this side that you're trying to build up.
Of course, and I'm happy with the clean sheet. And you see when there are 11 on the pitch who defend together and attack together, and when you have that in, the energy, and then you see what you can achieve.
And the options that you have, Casemiro coming on, Ronaldo coming on, that's quality through the whole squad now.
Yeah, but I think we need that, and I think we need a good squad. You need numbers. We have a lot of games to cover, and so we're happy. You see the ones Casemiro, Ronnie gets fitter and fitter, so we will more contribution given to the team. And so we need not only a team, we need a squad.
And you've got Anthony on board now. Is he going to be part of the squad for Sunday?
We have to see. And he did today his first training, individual. Then we have to team sessions, and then we will see for Sunday.
Just for the last time, I mean, we've got 45 minutes left. Is the transfer window closed for Manchester United?
When there's a really good opportunity, we have to strike. But I think the building is closed for now.
Phew. Cheers, Eric.
Okay.
And within the squad at that moment. But I've got to say that the players kept going. They gave absolutely everything. You know, the intensity was there. They kept fighting. We lack that bit of craft and a bit of quality in the final third. Obviously, James Maddison gives us that, but you needed more. You needed more than that. So yeah. But like I said, the attitude of the players, they give absolutely everything. The spirit's there, but yeah, it wasn't enough.
We could see how upset you were. You went straight to the monitor after the goal was scored and a shake of the head. You could see the disappointment because a big space had opened up there.
Yeah. What would you got to be able to play in that moment as well. You know, I think when it comes back, you know, Wardy's done great for us since he's come in, and but when the ball goes back to the keeper, you need those angles from the centre halves, and you need your centre midfield player that can come in and take the ball. But that aside, Wardy's made the decision to kick, and once he kicks it, you've got to close the game up. You know, you just got to be tight as a four, and then work your way into the game.
Didn't quite click tonight. The players, it's understandable that they're a bit vulnerable after this run of events, and they just need something to go for them to lift the spirits a little bit.
Yeah, that's it, and I feel for them because they've given absolutely everything. You know, they've with all the greatest respect, we haven't had the help in the market that this team needed. So it's just going to be the case of, you know, pushing on. I think when the window closes this evening, it gives us now that common theme now as a team. We've got to get the win. And like I said, but as we can show that spirit and that attitude, then I'm pretty sure it'll come quickly.
Everyone focuses on the one thing. There's none of this speculation, none of the chit-chat.
Yeah, that's right. And it has. It's been a huge distraction. And like I've said before, it destabilises a group and a mentality when there's so much going on. So, but these are, you know, a good bunch of guys who once, you know, they get that win, the confidence will grow, and they'll be fine.
It's a big test for you as well of your mettle and your determination, because it's a complicated financial situation here, and you're playing against a side that's spent £220 million in the transfer window.
That's right. Modern football, there's no empathy for that situation, and yeah, it is what it is. We want to be competitive. And I think we were really competitive tonight, but we just weren't good enough to take something from the game.
Thank you, Brendan.
Cheers, Des. Thank you.
They haven't threatened David De Gea at all, Justin with a chance at the end. But I just don't think they got to grip. They didn't affect the games. Individuals didn't win any battles on the pitch.
But what is happening here then? This is a team that finished 8th in the Premier League last season. This is a team that have been in the top half of the last 5 Premier League seasons. This is the same team from last season. You know, Fofana was injured a lot of last season.
But Jake, I think it goes back to the point we've heard a lot of managers and a lot of us as players, you talk about transfer windows and you think new players coming in gives you that impetus, gives you that little bit of kind of, it generates a feeling and changing where, oh, I've got to prove myself and show that player, and that extra competition comes in again. They haven't got that here. They're sitting on the same amount of same players, really. They understand that the dynamics of the football club have changed. The purse strings have been pulled, so that there's automatically going to be a little bit of negativity that creeps in. Again, it's up to Brendan and his staff to kind of change that now, and I think he was right in what he says. I think it's a big moment now. The window's shut. Expectation levels, there's none of them now. We've got what we've got to work with it now, and I think that they've got to change that mindset now once this window's closed tonight.
I was doing a bit of maths during the game, which is always dangerous for me. But the squad are not old. The average age tonight of the starting 11 was 26. Interestingly, though, on average, those players have been here almost 5 years each. So this is not a new squad by any stretch. Is that a factor that for 5 years they've been at the same club?
Oh, possibly, but I just think that, you know, if you're looking at the bench, how many players who started the game tonight would think they're going to play every single week? And that's what Rio's going to the point where any change room, we've all been in change rooms, some better than others. I was probably the worst one out of these two. But again, even players when...
No one disagreed with that.
But when, you know, even in any dressing room, if a player comes in, you're thinking, right, so Dewsbury Hall has worked hard to get into the team. Who's going to... Now, Dewsbury Hall might be thinking that I'm going to play every week here. Who's pushing Dewsbury Hall? Who's pushing the next player? So I'm not saying that against Dewsbury Hall because he deserves to be in the team, doesn't he? And he's been fantastic. I thought he was Leicester's best player tonight. But who's pushing the players in the side? So does Vardy think, well, I'm going to play every week? You know, Maddison, when he's fit, am I going to play every week? So that's why I think Brendan Rodgers needed to add players in the...
I think the word that best explains it is there's a bit of a stoutness here.
Yeah.
It's stout.
Yeah, it's flat.
It
yeah.
feels flat, it feels
Crowd were
stout.
flat.
The crowd as well, they feel it. And you need the atmosphere. They need to help generate the atmosphere, but the players need to kind of bring that as well. And there wasn't enough today on the pitch that excited this crowd until probably like the last 2 or 3 minutes. And that just isn't good enough.
Yeah, and obviously you can't be here because you're watching this at home, but actually in the programme notes, the chairman makes the point that after a few years of spending, they are now pulling in the purse strings. They have to make sure that they deal with the fair play situation, financial fair play, and for that reason, Leicester, as you've seen, have not gone heavy this year. In fact, Wesley Fofana leading to 70 million is the big bit of business. Oh, difficult times for Brendan Rodgers, but good times at the moment for Manchester United. And actually, we're still talking about a Manchester United side that are finding their feet, finding their confidence under this new manager. And one of those players is Jadon Sancho. 3 goals last season, 2 already this season. What did you all think of him this evening?
I think there's a million miles more to come. I think there's so much talent in Jadon. I think it's been difficult for him because he came into a team that was really struggling. You know, you come into a new team, you want to come in, the team settled. There are a lot of issues. I think they brought him in to play off the right-hand side because they had Rashford and Martial for left. Jadon looks better off the left-hand side. You know, I think all of them do. Martial, Rashford all look better off the left-hand side. But there's a fantastic player in there. There really is. I think he's got so much. I think in a way at Dortmund he had Hakimi as a right-back who took the width and he came inside, and then he had Haaland to link with. So that whole right-hand channel was world-class. And I think with the personnel that United had, it didn't really suit maybe the way that he wanted to play. Rio and I were talking about it. Jadon wants to come in and link, play little 1-2s and play decisive passes. So I think Jadon's been really good, but there's so much more to come from Jadon.
I think with Jadon, the team has to function for him to be able to perform. There's some players who, no matter what happens, they can go and do something in the game that changes the game. I think Jadon needs other areas to be functioning really well. He needs Malacia to be flying up on the side of him. Like I said, Hakimi was doing that at Dortmund. But he needs Malacia to be flying up, getting outside him, creating that decoy, and then having someone to bounce the ball off inside, whether it's a midfielder, a Bruno or a striker, and then moving, because he's a great footballer, he's a thinker, and he's got a great way to pass. He needs runners and movement around him to be able to affect the game. And I think an area that he's improving in the last couple of games is actually getting in and around the box to score goals.
Yeah, that's a good
point. And I think if he keeps adding that to his game, then he's going to be a definite threat, and he's going to always be in the manager's mind in terms of scoring goals. Here he's doing the other side of the game, he's pressing.
Manager demands that, doesn't he?
Yeah, definitely. And then it's about staying in and around it when the ball comes up to the sharp end of the pitch. And see here, it's a great first touch away from the goalkeeper, takes him out of the game completely, and it's a fantastic finish.
I think the biggest, I know we're talking about Jadon Sancho, but I think the biggest thing in this side now, and Scholesy talked about midfield players taking the ball in the half turn. This is the goal, you know, the fullbacks high up the park. Look at Fernandez's position. Just look, he knows he wants to play forward. They're trying to communicate. Soumari's saying to Johnny Evans, I agree with Rio. Soumari's got to go and do go out wide. Johnny Evans has got to drop back. The first touch is fantastic. The thing about that goal was the way they moved the ball quick. You know, defenders weren't be allowed to set. But going back to the team itself, Varane and Martinez, they've not got beat. They've got a partnership. We've seen United over the last few years, Maguire and Bailly, Lindelof, so many different partnerships. Yeah. These two, for me, unbeaten. They've won every game, I think, since those two have played together. And midfield players who get the ball in the half-turn, controlling games. I think that's the biggest thing. And what United have to do going forward, I think they've had the 10 years, the biggest net spend in the Premier League. And look where they are. The recruitment has to be right. And it will take time, but they've had 10 years and it's not. The recruitment has not been good enough.
But what they're doing now is that the results are enabling them to start creating a culture and an environment. And we saw the pictures, we saw it live up here, the reaction to a tackle, a blocking of a cross from Dalot. And you see it and they're going crazy. It's only blocked the cross, but that's creating something, and you can see something there. Listen, they've still got a long way to go, but the back four, there seems a togetherness. And listen, any good team that I played in, it was almost like we're our own unit. We keep clean sheets. They go and do what they're doing, the midfielders and forward, but us together, we keep our house in check. And it seems like they're starting to build something there between them, and that is vitally important for any good team.
even just the way that he stood and watched the players go over to the away fans. Remember, it wasn't too long ago that players were walking off disgruntled, grumpy, not going to the away fans, question marks over that. It might not be sexy, but stability is important in football at times, and that's what Manchester United need more than anything.
Yeah, well, I think he stripped it back to basics. I thought the Brighton game, the Brentford game, he saw enough. And you need effort, you need intensity. We talk too much about formations and shape and tactics. You can't play football at this level without intensity and effort. All the top teams, Liverpool, City, they play with intensity and effort. United had none against Brighton and Brentford. It was unbelievable to watch. And speaking to some of the staff, they looked at the clips and said, forget the tactics. You got to run and you got to tackle. And they did that from the first minute against Liverpool. And I think today wasn't great. There's so much more in this United side. They'll play way better football. But the organised, the defensive sound, Sav makes a good point about the back four. I think they're in a good spot, but there's a lot more to come from the group.
I think Erik ten Hag said it before the game. There's a process. There's a process now to get into being a consistent team that is going to be challenging for top four first and foremost, and then beyond that. And they've got to follow that. And listen, to add to what they've already got at the moment, they've got Casemiro still to come in.
I think the last two performances, the word you could use it is efficient. Not spectacular, but efficient in the way they played.
How concerned are you about Leicester and their position in this league?
I said before the game when we were speaking to Brendan that the way he makes players better, you can see every detail he looks at, with him and his coaching side. It's probably going to be a huge test of his managerial career.
Could they go down?
Yeah, they could. I think they could. 1 point from 5 games. But I just think the owners don't press the panic button because they've got a fantastic manager. He's won the FA Cup not so long ago. They finished 5th on 2 occasions.
Yeah.
He's got this. He's not changed, but he's got to try and make the players better who he's made better. If you understand what I mean, that's going to be difficult to lift them because those players will be thinking now, it's the same group again. Listen, they've got the best training ground in the country, no doubt about that. It's a fantastic fan base. But they could go down. But as long as Brendan Rodgers stays here, I don't believe they will.
Unity, right, has been the key at Leicester for the last few seasons. And actually, unity is quite easy when you're winning FA Cups and you're winning Premier Leagues and you're finishing in the top half. This is now the test, not just of Brendan and his players, but the test of this football club. The test of the owners, the test of the fans.
Yeah, it is. And I think a key part of that as well is keeping people happy. We spoke about Maddison before. He'd been courted by clubs. Newcastle, we reported in the papers. Tielemans had been courted by different clubs. It's about actually kind of reigniting their fire as well for this football club. Very difficult, but they have to take some responsibility with that, with the players, but also the management staff. They have to go in there and galvanise this squad because it's been difficult. And to watch other teams go on, recruit and bring players in and spend large amounts of money that we just heard there, the big sums of money just